Hey Deckers, Hunt Showdown is now Hunt Showdown 1896. It had a massive engine update, still supported on GeForce now, and pulled around 60,000 active players over the last few days, and actually got updated as official playable status on the Steam Deck. Check out the SDG Companion App on the iOS and Android app stores if you want all of those stats in your pocket. Now, this was not running originally out of the box for me, but now it does seem to run if I turn the compatibility completely off under the new engine and update. So hopefully they fix this, but if you are still having issues running this without any additional protons or other bits and pieces, then the way that I got this running originally was to actually set it to Proton Experimental from the compatibility menu, but I also had to update Proton Experimental to a Bleeding Edge branch. So just search for Proton Experimental in your library on your Steam Deck, go into Proton Experimental, under the settings icon and properties, and then under betas you want to select the one that says Bleeding Edge latest and untested DXVK. None of the others worked for me at the time. They might have updated some of the previous ones in the meantime, but that's the one that definitely worked for me to get this up and running for this video. As I said later when I tested this, I didn't need the protons anymore, and I did delete the proton files as well, and it still ran. So hopefully this runs out of the box for you guys now, and I'm actually quite surprised under the new game engine how well this is actually running. As you can see, for the most part it does actually hold up to 60 frames per second and is looking absolutely fantastic. The engine updates really have made this look so much smoother, and the FSR and DLSS implementations have actually been running very well in this one. The best settings that I've been running on this is actually pretty much just the low preset, and by default it does also automatically select the FSR quality. So I kept the VSync off, maxed out the frame rate at 60, as I don't think it's going to go much higher, to be honest, especially as we're still hanging around that 22.5 watt mark. 4 times anisotropic aliasing, medium on the lighting quality, which is pretty much the low preset, with motion blur off as well. Now, I did switch this to DLSS as it had the option just to see if it was an in-game implementation, which it does seem to be, and this did make a considerable difference, especially around the trees and other bits of foliage. It just seemed to smooth things off, and I didn't really notice any performance difference, but it did look a lot cleaner to me. Could be a placebo effect, it may be that this is actually off or just retained the FSR quality, but to me, especially when I was outside moving around, this did look a lot cleaner. So low preset with medium lighting, and you can bump it up to medium terrain detail if you don't mind a few extra dips just to get a little bit better quality. And you will see here, even out in the wild, we're still getting around 60 frames per second for the most part, and the trees and the shrubbery does look incredibly good, and that skybox does look absolutely phenomenal as well. Overall, I was able to play through the games with no anti-cheat issues. I was able to match up with a partner, which you saw running around there, as that was a random from matchmaking, and overall it does sit around 40 to 60 frames per second, mostly in the 50 to 60 range with those minor dips, but you are only going to get around 2 hours to 2.5 hours playtime at max on the OLED with that 22.5 watt power draw. Let us know if you're going to be diving back into Hunt Showdown now it's had these engine updates, and it is also free to play for this weekend. You got about another day and a half on the free to play if you want to just jump in and have a go. I'll leave you a bit more of the gameplay without me talking so you can get a better feel for the gameplay and performance. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.